I've had a ball doing these videos with you. I hope you've been able to pick up a tip or two or an idea or two of how to use Trillion to best advantage. I'm going to end off with a little thing I put together. I had fun putting together a patch and modulating one of the effects parameters with velocity that I want to show you. So let me play you the little groove as it is now, and then we'll look at what I've done here. Alright, so we have a nice little part. I'm going to solo the bass for you, and what I've done is it's a single sound source. The second one is muted, and I've added in the harmonia with some extreme panning and a little bit of slight detuning. There's FM going on here, although there's very little depth, just to give a little bit of growl. I'll dial it up a little bit. And I've done a nice little dual filter setup here where I have an offset and got a nice little thing going on with some spread control to give some width to the filter. Let me play it for you as is now. That's with just one filter. So you see it gives it some nice subtle width and depth. Now what I've done here is I went to the effects rack, and I'm really only concerned with layer A here, and I have a BPM delay, and what I've done is I've set up a modulation routing. By right-clicking on there, I've chosen to modulate it with velocity. So now when we go back to the main edit page, we'll see here in the routings, I have velocity set to modify or modulate the BPM delay mix. So this is why I have the list here open with all the velocities. I wanted you to see I've deliberately programmed this part up with some notes quieter than others to have a fairly wide velocity range. For a part like this, it's fairly wide anyway. And what I'm going to do is unmute this, and this is really subtle, but what is going to happen now is on the louder notes, we get a bit more of a delay kicking in, and on the quieter notes, very little delay, if any. And you'll see that I've set the source slider very low because I want this to be really subtle. I want very little of the modulation to be sent to that mix slider. Very little feedback, a nice wide spread, and no real distortion, a little bit of drive post feeding into this delay. So let's hear this in context. So this is Eli Kransberg signing out. Thanks for sticking with me. Hope you've enjoyed the videos. Enjoy Trillion.